everyone. I'm Angelique, and today I'm delighted to speak with Dr. Yomi, who has been deeply involved with AWLN and CSAW, a passionate advocate for environmental justice, and a key organizer of Environmental Justice Day at the Atlanta Capitol. We'll be discussing the impact of intergenerational collaboration in environmental advocacy and how it has shaped Dr. Yomi's approach to community engagement. So, Dr. Yomi, the question I have for you is, how has working with AWLN and CSAW alongside people from different age groups influenced your approach to environmental stewardship and advocacy in your community?
Miss Angelique Willis, thank you for an opportunity to share my thoughts, my experiences in working with both young people and the elders in the community through Atlanta Watershed Learning Network, AWLN, and also the Department of Geosciences, the innovative CSAW program. In trying to address the question, I will be making comments in 4 parts. First is to make a general statement based on my knowledge and working with these 2 groups. And they both have missions that are related, solving problems, being innovative. And then 2 is to look at my own personal journey in the context of research, teaching, collaborative learning. And the 3rd is the lessons, the lessons and implication for addressing environmental injustice at the root so that we can really get to environmental and climate change. So then the lessons learned and also making a concluding statement. So what have I seen or observed, learned about these 2 is that the Georgia State University, the CSAW programs have had a significant impact on individuals and the broader community in many ways, particularly in fostering community engagement, enhancing community education, and strengthening collaborative efforts in research and teaching. We've done that. And AWLN has created a unique opportunity for community leaders to serve as stewards, to protect their watershed, and also advocate for equitable development in their community with a focus on green infrastructure. Those are 2 important statements pertaining to these 2 entities. They are living organizations that I've been involved with, that have influenced how I think in some ways, and have also influenced how they practice what they say they're going to do. So the two living organizations are very, very proud to be a part of this. So that's the first thing. The second thing is Yomi's learning journey in terms of creating a learning ecosystem so that I can create meaningful learning, meaningful relationship, authentic relationship, in order to do what I believe should be done in terms of intergenerational learning, to be able to build a movement, change policy, grow leaders that will stand up for truth, using their knowledge to make a difference. So for me, I have to first learn to unmask what is not real in me. And following through that first step, then I have to unlearn some of the knowledge that are not right based on my lived experience. So I have to unlearn that and put new learning into my being and make that real. So in the process of doing that, the third step It's now I have to reframe and redefine how I teach, how I help facilitate community engaged research, and how I collaborate with my colleagues and friends in academia at the Georgia State University and other colleges. So that's Yomi. So in regard to research, we have to integrate research and community-based learning. We have to have learned that, I've seen that in practice. It's happening because it's now becoming part of the process, because we can't solve environmental problems by just doing basic research. And people have seen that. What we are also learned is that, we say we have to co-create knowledge. Before we can effectively co-create knowledge, we also have to co-create learning. And that's about popular education. The two they go together. So I've learned, I'm putting that into practice, and it has influenced how I do my work at AWLN through EcoAction. EcoAction is the primary social change organization that has given Yomi an opportunity to grow and make a difference for the people we serve in Georgia communities. So that is the process in terms of research. Yes, the research should be done in a way that you leverage local knowledge and honor the communication shared with the researchers and the ownership of the data. I've learned that our colleagues in academic also yielding to that because they see that is the future. And I know we're working to make it a part of the culture of the research we do. Then, so that is research. Then, in terms of teaching, in the AWLN, one of the reasons behind the success of that is that we have a learning dynamics that we've created to facilitate learning among adults and also among young people on a regular basis. So we call it NKMS, Noticing, Keeper, Motivation, and Share. You can't come to AWLN training if you are not going to share your knowledge. We don't want you there. And that is something that we have pushed, that, and it has become a culture of that entity, and other people are asking us to use that model. So that is working. So, in trying to put things together, you're talking about research, we're talking about teaching, and then the community, the collaborative partnership. My brothers and sisters, I've also learned that, collaborative partnership takes a lot of giving and taking. And the most important giving is to share power and share resources if you really want to collaborate with the community. I've learned that, and I've seen that changing. So intergenerational learning circle becomes real if all these things are taking place, and people, and Yomi, I've seen that, and and the Georgia State University has been very instrumental in helping EcoAction to provide leadership for the TIRE project in Georgia that have helped influence policy change. So in summary, what are the main lessons that I've learned, that have influenced me in having the capacity through EcoAction to be able to bring people together comfortably? Because I listen to understand, not to respond. That's lesson number one that comes forward in everything that I try to do. And I also respect the audacity of youthfulness. I don't have that, and I don't claim it. So I honor the young people, what they bring to the table, so that I can learn from them and they can learn from me. It will be a learning exchange to foster our drive, our movement for authentic pursuit of environmental justice. Remember now, environmental justice is where we're going. That's the dream. But the root causes of what we're struggling with are environmental racism, environmental injustice, environmental degradations. Those are things we have to resolve and solve in order for us to have the pathway for environmental justice. And we have to enforce the laws we have today with an equity lens. I believed in that. You can attain environmental justice if you don't put an equity lens in the structure and process of what you're doing. It's not going to happen. So in trying to close and put all this together, then we also have to appreciate the value, yes, the value of our stakeholders. We don't want to take one another for granted. We all bring different things to the table. So once we recognize that, and we also have to learn to forgive one another in order to move forward. And finally, this work is tough. In Article Action, we have we help our participants create a support system, because in order to stay on this, they have to use this support system to stay on it for the long haul. Otherwise, they get tired. When they get tired, the support system is the one that keeps you going. So in closing, another thing is about blind spot. In academia, in research, we are so trained to think in a very logical way, whereas many of the environmental problems will need an holistic approach. And that's another thing that is becoming a part of our culture in doing community engaged research. And towards that is that this is what we call community driven, not driven by funds. Yeah, fund will help, but it's community driven. All those things will help us in solving. Okay, so in summary, my brothers and sisters, the structure and process that AWLN and CSAW have created must be sustained with funds, must be sustained with passion, and we must be sustained with steadfastness towards our goal for environmental justice. And in order for that to happen, we have to intentionally pursue intergenerational learning in order to sustain the movement for the long haul. And we also, as I said earlier on, that the two institutions, the two living organizations, as I call them, AWLN and CSAW, have made a difference. And I sincerely hope they will continue to make a difference for today's generation and future generation who will fight for environmental justice for all. And thank you for listening.
Wow, Dr. Yomi, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and experiences with us today. It is truly inspiring to hear how environmental justice and your work with AWLN and CSAW have created a ripple effect in the community. Your dedication to environmental justice and your ability to bring people together across generations is nothing short of amazing. We are so fortunate to have had the chance to learn from you and to hear your journey and your passion. So thank you so much again for your incredible work and for spending time with us.
Again, thank you and God bless.